Hey guys, it's Trevor, and it's week 15 on F2M television, and this week's topic is outing. Um, and not like, outing as in going out to the beach. Outing as in people outing you as trans. I'm back in Vancouver, so I'm home. It's pretty cool. Anyways, outing. Sometimes I wish YouTube could give us like 5 hours, because I think a lot of us could go on for hours and hours and hours and hours about outing. My personal opinion of outing is nobody but me should be outing me to anybody. Um, when I first came out as trans, um, and my mother found out, she told my entire family, which in the beginning I was okay with because it was less people I had to tell, less family members. But afterwards, it turned out that I was like, well, I didn't really get to explain it, because my mother obviously couldn't explain it from my point of view. But so yeah, no, I hate when people out me. It should be my choice. Who knows? Who doesn't know? Especially now that like my transition is finished, and I always pass now, and so it really confuses people when people out me as trans, or because a lot of people that I meet, like people in my workplace, there are a few of my close friends at work that know, but for the most part, most of my staff don't know. So when they do find out, they're really weirded out because I don't look female at all. Um, but I don't understand people who feel the need to out somebody. Like if I'm telling you that I'm transgender, that means that I have decided that I trust you on an utmost level. Like, you know, it's probably like one of my biggest secrets, and if I'm willing to share it with you, don't you think you should probably keep that to yourself? It's not something that, as soon as I leave, you turn around and go, "Oh, did you hear about Trevor? Oh my God, did you hear? Did you hear that he was like, did you hear?" And I'm like, really? Seriously, if I'm telling you, keep your mouth shut. I just It's also like, for me, it could be a safety thing. Like, yes, now that I live in Vancouver, granted, Vancouver is a very open city as far as being trans goes, because being trans in Vancouver is not uncommon. But when I was living in Calgary, it was a big safety thing to out me. Like, Calgary is a very redneck, you know, city, and not very trans friendly. Um, which, is just, they're a little bit behind in times, and but if you're gonna like out me to like people that we like, if I'm getting outed and I'm not the one that's telling people in a group of friends or whatever, um, it can be a safety thing, because there are a lot of people in this world who are very uncomfortable with it. A lot of people who don't approve of transgender people, or say what we're doing is wrong, or that and if you come across the Christian group, you're pretty much abomination to God. But um, it's just, yeah, I don't even know. Like, you don't out people. Like, with anything, like, not even just being trans, but like when I meet people, if they like, if they tell me they have like, their deep, like they tell me their deep dark secrets or whatever, like, say, it's not like I like introduce them to somebody. I'm like, "Hi, this is my friend so and so, and oh yeah, they have this, or they're this, or da da da." You just don't do that, because it makes the person uncomfortable. I'm very proud to be who I am. Don't get me wrong. I'm very proud to be trans. But it still should be and I don't care if people, like, I don't care if people know. I'm very open about it. Like I said, all of my friends know. People that I don't hang out with on a daily basis don't know, and people in my professional setting do not know. But that's just because, when you're the supervisor of a bunch of high school kids, you need to make sure that they're going to listen to you and respect you, so I don't really out myself at work. But you just can't remember where I was going with that thought. Where was I going? I don't remember. I'm kind of spacey today because I just kind of got back from vacation or whatnot. But like, yeah, no, outing is my responsibility. It's not. I'm not ashamed of who I am, but I also feel that it's sometimes there are times when it's not appropriate to out yourself or have people out you. I'm a big believer that, you don't need to flaunt the fact that you're trans or gay or bisexual or, anything in the queer community. I don't think, you don't need to flaunt it. And so I don't go around screaming at the top of my head that I'm trans or queer in any way. So I don't think people should out me the minute that, I walk away from a group of people. Um, but in the same breath, like if it does happen, if I do get outed and people do find out, I don't get super angry about it because, I'm not ashamed of who I am. I like to be open. I like people to know so that if there's that one person there that's kind of questioning whether they are trans or not or whatever, then they know they can come to me. But really, like it's my responsibility. It's up to me. It's who I decide I'm comfortable with. Decide if it's a safe thing to talk about, if it's a safe thing to bring up to people. That should be my responsibility, not anybody else's. You know, especially in like the workforce is really my only big thing because I have a lot of respect for the company that I work for and kind of want to keep it that way. But really, like outing me now is no big deal because a lot of times people don't even believe. Like if we're at like a party and my friends are drunk and somebody makes a comment about, oh, so they'll be saying something about like makeup or hair or something like that, and they'll turn to me and be like, oh, but you know what we mean, Trevor, right? Because you used to do this all the time. And a lot of people are like, huh, yeah, okay, whatever, guys. Like, Trevor is not doesn't do the hair and makeup thing, so what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you guys are on crack. But like prior to T and surgery and stuff, oh my god, like getting people outing me was horrible because I would like live in fear that somebody's gonna like jump me around the corner or something. And but so really like outing, I don't know how to stress it enough. It's my responsibility. It's the individual's responsibility. It's nobody else's business whatsoever to say anything. If somebody is confiding in you that they're trans, leave it between you two because it's not something that you should be blabbing her out. Like especially if you guys are in high school, don't be going around telling like if your friend is coming out to you in high school, don't go around telling the entire school that they're trans. Because I'm sorry, but high school are some of the meanest years of people's lives, and you're just causing reason for that individual to be bullied or whatever. So if somebody is coming to you, trusting you, confiding in you, believing that you'll be there for them, don't turn around and tell your group of friends, oh hey, did you hear? Oh my god, can you believe this? Like, don't do that. Leave it up to the person to tell people, because eventually they will come out, and eventually they'll be comfortable enough to tell everybody, or comfortable enough to start going forward. But until that time comes, it's not your responsibility. Outing people before they're ready to be outed can do a lot of damage. It can prevent people from wanting to, complete their transition. It can make them feel so unsafe that they just decide to live as a girl, a man or a woman for the rest of their life, even though, they truly know that they're the other gender. And that causes a lot of other problems, mentally and even physically. Like, if you're stressed out and mentally unstable because of the body that you're in, and you're afraid to transition because people are outing you, that can make you physically sick. That because mental sickness can manifest itself in physical ways. So, like before you guys come out and start telling people about people that are telling you that they're trans and stuff, before you you know, force them out of the closet, push them out of the closet, and lock the closet door. Take a moment to think about what you're actually doing. You're not just telling a little tiny secret. You could potentially be ruining somebody's life. Being trans is so hard for us to accept ourselves that before we can accept before we can start telling people and expecting people to accept us, we have to accept ourselves, and that takes a really long time. So when we start telling those one or two people, we are telling you with the expectation that it's going to stay between us. So, I guess that's really all I have to say about that. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on, but I think I got my point across. As the same point pretty much for everybody would be is don't do it. If I come to you and say, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm trans, and I just felt like you needed to know, or especially if I'm starting to like somebody, and I come out to them and be like, I know that we've been flirting, and feelings have been developing, but you need to know this. That's leave it between us. Don't, don't give it to anybody else. Don't tell anybody else, because potentially you could be putting that person's life in danger, not just from the public but from themselves as well. Because if they feel like the public is not going to accept them because you've gone and blabbed your mouth about what they've told you, they're not going to want to transition. And if they don't, 9 times out of 10, if people don't transition, then they really don't want to live. So you kind of are putting their life at risk. Um, Anyways, I hope everybody is good, and I hope, for everybody that's back in school. I know school's started here today. Mine starts tomorrow. Um, just hope everybody is, had their first good week back at school, and hope everybody enjoyed their summer, and I will see you guys all next week. Remember to be kind to everybody, but most importantly, please be kind to yourselves.